Tim Burton. Who is he? And this is by me, Tobias Craig, and we will be going over it now. Well, our learning objectives are we're going to learn who Tim Burton is and what influenced him. We're going to go over his achievements in his filmography. We're going to go over his director style and methods, his film analysis, and his scene analysis. And right there, that's Tim Burton himself. So we're starting with his bio. Tim Burton was born August 25th, 1958 in Burbank, California. He became interested in drawing and filmmaking quite young, and you can see he's very artistic, and you can see that in a lot of his claymation films where he helps design the scenes. He attended the California Institute of Arts, and he got his job working as an animator at Disney. He produced one film. He produced his first short, which was called Frankenweenie, which is about a dog who was unfortunately struck by a car, and the boy wanted to get his dog back together and turn him into a Frankenstein dog. That was produced in 1984. He was later fired from Disney due to a short film that he created that Disney execs claimed were meant to scare children. He produced his first film, which was called Pee-wee's Big Adventure in 1985, which is a grown man-child trying to get his bicycle back. Pee-wee Herman is a fun character himself, and yeah. Then he produced his first ever stop-motion film with characters that were helped to be designed by him in Nightmare Before Christmas in 1993. It's a Christmas Halloween film. And recently he's started directing in a show, which was Wednesday. And that he did a few episodes of Wednesday in 2022 because he has the style that they're going for. A dark, mysterious, but kind of funny style. Now we're going to be going over his life influences, and as you can see in this slide, you'll see Roald Dahl and Dr. Seuss. Those were two of his biggest childhood inspirations. He called them his heroes when he was growing up. Tim Burton has a fascination with the combination of horror and humor. You can see that in a lot of his films, really. Edward Scissorhands, where he just literally a man who lives in a dark, creepy mansion, and he has scissors for hands, and he's falling in love. Or Nightmare Before Christmas, where all these ghouls and ghasts want to celebrate Christmas in their own way. Frankenweenie, the 2016 film. That's another great example of you're putting together your dog who just died, turning it into a Frankenstein monster, and turning it into a hero. Burton was also a moviegoer as a child, and he would prefer doing that over going to a museum, which Burbank, California was full of. So now we're going to be going over his career, and he's had a lengthy film career, but today we're only really going over his films. In this you can see a bunch of his famous films like Sleepy Hollow, Alice in Wonderland, Beetlejuice, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and a few other films. So, he has an extensive movie list, and I've watched a few of them, not all of them, but I've watched a good, I'd say enough that I'd be happy. Of course, he started off with Pee-wee's Big Adventure in 1985, then he moved on to one of my favorites, Beetlejuice, in 1988, which is coming out with a second one this year, in 2023, called Beetlejuice, using, what's his name? Oh, shoot. Michael Keaton. He produced Batman in 1989, Edward Scissorhands in 1990, Batman Returns in 92, Nightmare Before Christmas, his first ever stop motion in 93, James the Giant Peach, another stop motion in 96, Mars Attack, a creepy, weird alien movie that freaked me out as a child because I saw it on TV when my parents were watching it by accident in 1996. Sleepy Hollow in 1999. Planet of the Apes 2001. Big Fish 2003. I haven't heard of or seen that one. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp in 2005. Corpse Bride, another good stop motion. Sweeney Todd in 2007. I believe that's a musical. 9, another really good stop motion. Kind of is very dark though. Alice in Wonderland in 2010. Creepy, another Johnny Depp one, if I'm not mistaken. Dark Shadows in 2012. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter 2012. Frankenweenie, he went back to his roots and did a stop motion with Frankenweenie. Big Eyes, Alice in Wonderland Through the Looking Glass, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I love the book series. And Dumbo in 2019. That's one that's gotten mixed reviews. It's very interesting, and despite the fact he doesn't work for Disney anymore, he works with Disney. So now we're going to be going over his film awards, and today we're only going to focus on the Academy Awards, because quite frankly, if I were to go over them all, this presentation would be a lot longer than it needs to be. So in total of film awards, he'd have 29 wins and 79 nominations. In 1989, he won, or his makeup artist won Best Makeup in Beetlejuice. In 85, they got Best Makeup in Ed Wood, which is something I forgot to mention. However, it is another popular movie of his. In 85, they also won Best Supporting Actor. In 99, they got Best Art Direction in Sleepy Hollow. And in 99, they also got Best Costume Design. In 07, they got Best Art Direction in Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. And 2007, they also got Best Costume Design. In 2010, they got Best Costume Design in Alice in Wonderland. And we will be bringing up Tim Burton's costume thing later in the presentation. So, in this slide, you can see some pictures of classic Disney characters put into the Tim Burton style. And this style is known as Burton-esque. Tim Burton has a very distinct style, and he creates his own. He doesn't really follow any specific style. He has a very dark and macabre style. However, he likes to throw in humor, and he likes to have fun with it. If you think of Willy Wonka or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, think of when Johnny Depp says, "Good morning, Starshine, the sun says hello." That's really strange, but at the same time, it's fun. He has fun with his films. He doesn't take himself too seriously. So he has a lot of dark and light scenes. The scenes will contrast one another. There's a picture later in the slide that shows Edward Scissorhands looking at a mirror, and it's in this bright, colorful town. But he's looking behind him, and he sees this dark, spooky mansion. So he does have contrast, but a lot of his scenes are dark. He does do a lot of dark films. Batman, most of his claymations. What else can I think of? A lot of them do have dark, but there is fun ones that have light, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Often characters are defined by their exaggerated features, their long, gangly hair. Oh shit! Sorry. Oh no, it's not going back. Okay, well, their long, gangly hair, their bulging eyes, and their costume design has meaning. So each costume is supposed to, it represents something. Think of, in Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton knew that hatters back in those days, they'd often use a specific type of glue that could get them really high and mess with their brain in their hats. And so that's kind of the idea that he went when he was drafting the Mad Hatter with the costume. helped them win an Oscar as well. So, now we're going to go over director's technique. He likes to use a lot of low-key lighting to create suspense and fear. He uses high-key lighting for mood to show perfection, joy, and happiness. One example is looking at the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory film and how bright and colorful it is. It's supposed to be a wonderland for kids. But there's also some dark scenes where it is meant to create that suspense. He uses music and sound to create mood, and there's one I noticed in Beetlejuice. The entire film has a dark soundtrack, and it is meant to create the idea that they're ghosts. But they also have soundtracks where it's really upbeat and light, and it's supposed to be that way because the film is showing Barb and Adam's love too, and same with Lydia's will to actually be able to live. Tim Burton creates characters that often they need to be understood. They aren't really understood. And so he wants to make their films with development. And some of this development is, how can I put it? They develop to be better people and happier people. Think of Jack Skellington. He's the Pumpkin King, but he's not satisfied with his life. So what he does is he follows this path and goes to Christmas Town, learns the joys of Christmas, and wants to bring back the joy of Christmas to everyone. And he wants to bring back Santa Claus to everyone. Now we're going to go over our movie analysis. And we will be going over my favorite, which is Nightmare Before Christmas. We will be starting off with the characters, which are Jack Skellington, played by Danny Elfman, Oogie Boogie, Ken Page, and Sally, who's played by Catherine O'Hara. Jack Skellington is the Pumpkin King. He's not satisfied with his life, and the mayor is thinking, oh, we're so excited for Halloween, but Jack finds himself one day, and he's going through the woods, and he finds this Christmas tree door, and he opens it, and he gets brought down to Christmas Town, and he watches all the elves, and he sings a song. What's this? There's snow colored white stuff in the air. What's this? This has to be I'm Dreaming. And he loves all the colors and he loves the joy. So he wants to bring this back to Halloween Town. So he tries to bring it back to Halloween Town, but in the process he kidnaps Santa Claus. Actually, Oogie Boogie tells these 3 little gremlin children to kidnap Santa Claus and try to ruin Christmas, but Santa forgives them. And the movie's all about being able to be yourself to enjoy yourself, because you don't have to be someone else that you're not to enjoy yourself. And now we're going to bring up the magic of claymation. I love claymation, and I think some of these films that use claymation are so much more creative than most. And here's the truth. It's such a great film set because there's so much you can do with clay. You can model, you can do this, you can move them around, and the amount of work and effort they put into it makes the film worth watching. Like, you watch Jack Skellington move and you watch his free-flowing arms, or you'd watch Sally try to give her dad his drink and his juice, and it's weird, creepy, but it's fun. The entire movie has this aesthetic, this Tim Burton aesthetic, and it's true. Tim Burton heavily inspired, of course he inspired. They're his characters. This is his art style. This is his child. But claymation does so much more to add to a character, because you actually have to force them to have these exaggerated bodies so they can show so much more emotion and so much more joy, and they have so much facial contortion. It's just fun. And you take a picture of them, and they have to design all these models that are movable. and it's so magical to watch. Now we're going to do our scene analysis. And what we're doing is on the scene, Where Simpatico, which is a scene in Beetlejuice, which is another movie I really like. And basically, in this scene, Barbara and Adam go down into Beetlejuice's little world in their model that they created in life. And Beetlejuice is there, and he's like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna teach you how to be creepy ghosts. How are we gonna get these people out of our house?" And he does the, "We're gonna throw our voice, fool your friends, butter party." Wah! And he's and he's trying to get touchy with Barbara too. And Adam's like, "Screw off." Um, but Beetlejuice is he's giving it his all, and he's trying to be this character who's a terrible, terrible person who wants to scare people, whose goal in life is to make everyone else miserable. Meanwhile, Barbara and Adam just want their house back instead of having it all change after they die. It's not fair for them. So they're trying to fight Beetlejuice and say, "Can you politely go away?" Anyways, this is the end of my presentation. Thank you, and have a great day. And here are my references.